Don't go there. Oh god. Oh no, no. Lux, no! Oh god.
What is up, ProGuides family? I'm gonna test that one out, see if that sticks. We just got the new Fiddlesticks rework and it looks amazing. It looks so good. Finally, we have something terrifying on Summoner's Rift that isn't our teammate going 0 and 10 as Yasuo mid. I'm truly excited about this rework. I think there's a ton of skill expression involved. I think it's going to be amazing to cosplay as Fiddlesticks at TwitchCon. Not the sexiest cosplay, but definitely a good one. You guys have already probably seen the rework, but in this video, we're gonna be going over some stuff that's new, like the abilities and how to use them, and then some other stuff as well. Before we jump into this video, if you want to get better at League, you got to go to ProGuides. You will find what you're looking for there. You will climb the ranks. You will do a better job this season. And for our question of the day, what do you think of the new Fiddlesticks rework? To me, it's just awesome. It's like, it is one of the best reworks that I've seen. The passive just looks like it actually fits with the Scarecrow theme. Everything about it looks amazing. I'm just so excited for it. All right, guys, let's get right into the video. Okay guys, first off, let's talk about his skins. All of his skins are going to be touched up, but look at that base skin though. It's absolutely terrifying. It's so awesome. I'm so happy that Riot is going in this direction. It just makes it so much more fun when the characters are unique and interesting. BANDITO Fiddlesticks looks pretty cool, as well as this other one, and I'm definitely going to think about buying these once the update hits the live server. All right, with the skins out of the way, let's start talking about his abilities. Let's talk about his passive. His new passive is going to be called a harmless Scarecrow. Not so harmless as I can imagine. As opposed to his current one, this is a giant upgrade, night and day honestly. Fiddlesticks will replace his trinkets with something called Scarecrow effigies. Although they provide vision like regular wards, they look like Fiddlesticks, and when an enemy walks nearby and triggers one, it'll take an action such as a basic attack or channeling Fiddlesticks' Crowstorm. He can hold up to 2 of them at once, and after level 6, they'll also act like sweepers, revealing wards near it for 6 seconds. Honestly, I love this passive. It seems so fresh and so unique. It's not like a Garen passive where you just regenerate health or something lame like that. This is so unique and interesting, and it's going to create a lot of skill expression in the game. His current passive, Dread, is kind of a joke. At the moment, if you stand still or channel an ability for 1.5 seconds, you gain a temporary burst of movement speed. Sure, I guess you could claim that it's kind of like a Scarecrow thing, but does it really offer any significant gameplay value? I would definitely say that it doesn't. This new iteration of the passive allows for a total change of gameplay with Fiddlesticks. In the same way that Nico can use her W to trick enemies, Fiddlesticks can utilize this new passive to play tricks on his opponents. After seeing enough effigies, how can an opponent truly discern if the Fiddlesticks they're seeing is real or not? That's so awesome. There's an entire element of psychological warfare that Fiddlesticks can now bring to Summoner's Rift, fulfilling the thematic goal Riot hoped to accomplish with this rework. Next up is Fiddlesticks Q, Terrify. Same name, same functionality, but getting a makeover. We all know what it does now. You walk up to an enemy, press Q on them, and then they're feared for what seems like an eternity. This ability now has 2 parts to it. First, let's talk about the passive. Fiddlesticks' fear has bled into the passive portion of his Q rather than remaining as an active ability. If Fiddlesticks is unseen as well as out of combat, he fears enemies that he deals damage to with his abilities. As always, they'll run into the opposite direction from him in terror. The active portion of this ability is, well, that he'll fear them and also deal damage now. The damage is based on the target's current health. Basically, it's going to be the same ability, but it deals damage now. However, the major difference is that if the target enemy has been terrified recently, it won't fear them again. Instead, it'll just deal double damage. This is one of the reasons that I feel like there's much more skill expression involved. You can hold your Q for an enemy to spread out your crowd control, or try to maximize your damage on a single target. There's so much more to think about now rather than mindlessly pressing Q on the most important target. I don't think anyone is a fan of mindlessly point and click crowd control, except for me because sometimes I like to play Malzahar mid, but this definitely needed to stay in the game. We need abilities like this to keep champions with their insane mobility like Aurelia in check. Think of it as a lesser of 2 evils. Next up is Fiddlesticks' W, Bountiful Harvest. As opposed to Drain, this ability will target multiple enemies. When casting Bountiful Harvest, Fiddlesticks will begin draining nearby enemies for a few seconds. It will heal Fiddlesticks based off the amount of damage he dealt with it. Additionally, if he completes the channel, or if there are no enemies left to harvest within the ability's range, it'll have its cooldown partially refunded. If that wasn't enough, the last tick of the ability will also deal damage and heal based on the enemy's missing health. Both gameplay-wise as well as thematically, this seems a lot cooler than the old W, let's be real. At the end of the day, it really does feel like Fiddlesticks hasn't been able to keep up with the times. All the new champions do insane, really cool stuff, while Fiddlesticks kind of just walks up to you and starts sucking your soul out. Somewhat menacing, but kind of boring. This ability now feels way more modern, and it definitely shows as this rework has literally come 10 years after Fiddlesticks initially was released. Fiddlesticks' new E will be reworked into an ability called Reap. When cast, Fiddlesticks will cleave an area in front of him in a crescent shape. It deals and slows enemies it hits, and also silences enemies caught in the center of it. I'm definitely going to miss my point-and-click silence, but this ability definitely sounds like it'll be a lot more fun and interesting. On the side of playing against Fiddlesticks, it also means that there are more abilities you can avoid now. In his current state, the only ability you can dodge is his ultimate, but you usually can't count on that. I think another reason this ability was reworked was because of how frustrating Dark Wind was to play against. Okay, how many times have you guys been outplayed not by Fiddlesticks, but by your own teammate? Fiddlesticks throws a crow at them and they walk into you, another ally or minion, and then that crow suddenly flies towards you as well. Beginners especially will find this difficult to deal with, and the most frustrating part is that even if you know what to do against the ability, your teammates also need to know how to react as well. As opposed to other abilities, you usually don't face direct consequences for your teammates' mistakes. If they take that ash arrow to the face, well, you just ditch them and get out of there. When you're running away right next to you, it's pretty annoying to see that they're allowing Fiddlesticks crows to continue bouncing between the two of you. Oh well. Fiddlesticks' ultimate is basically receiving no changes at all. It'll still be the same crow storm we all know, although he has received some visual changes to it. However, remember now that Fiddlesticks' Q allows him to fear enemies if he ambushes them. A perfect ultimate will lead to him fearing all 5 of his enemies. If his ultimate wasn't impactful enough already, I think this is going to make Fiddlesticks an extremely powerful champion, especially in lower elo, because of how impactful one of his ultimates can be. With a well-planned ambush, Fiddlesticks is guaranteed to get a few ticks of his ultimate off, as his opponents will be hard crowd controlled following the end of its channel. In terms of balance, it's likely that some damage will have to be shaved off of this ability to accommodate this new addition to Crowstorm's power budget. There's going to be a lot more planning involved with a Fiddlesticks ultimate as well. It's possibly one of the best disengage tools in the game, but can also turn around fights after they start. While Fiddlesticks could either use his ultimate to initiate fights or during the middle of them, the timing of his ultimate will now matter more than ever. All players are going to have to relearn playing versus Fiddlesticks because his ultimate is so much stronger now. While some fights might look like they're going well initially, chasing into the jungle might mean your entire team gets feared and suddenly your team is the one that gets aced instead. Overall, this rework seems like it hits all the targets of a good one. Fiddlesticks now has so much more skill expression, a more modernized ability set, and brings unique gameplay to the table. Hopefully it isn't too oppressive, but I'm sure as the numbers get tuned and some minor adjustments are made, Fiddlesticks will be in a much better spot than he currently is in. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys do need help with your mechanics and your decision making, then go to ProGuides.com, where we have a ton of stuff to help you out. You can go find your challenger coach right now. That's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in your next few games, and I'll see you on the Rift.